it's Reagan, and today I'm here to bring you my February wrap-up for the month of February. I'm pretty pleased with how many things I read. I read a total of 4 books. I enjoyed them all, which was always a plus, but I definitely want to hopefully read more next month. It's just like college is killing me. Slowly but surely, but I only have 1 semester left, so hopefully maybe I'll throw some of my responsibilities to the wind. But anyway, that's for a whole nother video. So the first book I completed this month was My Lady Jane by Cynthia Han, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. This is a historical fiction, heavy emphasis on the word fiction, retelling of a little-known historical event where a woman called Lady Jane Grey had the throne for like a span of a week until she was like decapitated by Queen Elizabeth. This is a fantastical spin on that story following our main character, Miss Lady Jane Grey, and there's fantastical elements of like animal morphicism, which I thought was pretty interesting. It's a story where we follow Lady Jane Grey, and at the beginning of the novel she is married off to a man that she's never met before, and she's not really too thrilled about it, and then she's thrust into this kind of power struggle for the throne, and again involving that fantastical elements that I mentioned previously. The strongest element of this book is definitely the humor. This has a strong wit throughout it, both through the interjections of the narrator, but also from Lady Jane Grey as well. This was my favorite element of the book. I actually almost wish they went a little further with the narrator interruptions, as well as just kind of the wit and like the absurdity of the dialogue. I think if they even just went a step above, it would make this just even better. I liked this book. I thought it was a lot of fun. I really liked the characters, and the magic was really interesting, and you really are easily falling into the story. It's a very easy and quick read. I would say it's pretty surface level in my opinion. I almost wish something was a little more developed, a little predictable, but again, you can't really fault it because it's just so fun. Ultimately, I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a really nice book. It didn't blow me away, but I definitely enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see where the story goes. It was really cute. Next book I read is the Proustopia Book Club pick of the month for the month of February, and this month we are working with Keymaster Press, and that book is The Alchemist of Loom by Elise Kova, and I've already done a full non-spoiler review of this, which I'll leave linked down below, but I absolutely loved this book. I thought this was a highly original fantasy story that I'm so excited to have read, and I'm really pumped to read more works by Elise Kova. I've never heard of her before, but I've had so many comments in recent videos talking to me about her other series that are just as amazing and I should check out, so I'm definitely gonna do that. But about this is a really cool multi-perspective fantasy novel that follows one of our main characters, who is the White Wraith, and she has basically made her living as a criminal. She harvests organs and sells them on the black market. Our other main character is named Chevra, and he is part of the Dragon Elite, and he will do anything to basically dethrone the current Dragon King and put his sister on the throne. These are 2 people that, based on where they are in society, should hate each other. They have to work with each other based on certain circumstances of this book. Other elements of the story involve some really cool steampunk and really awesome, like, fantastical twists on the historical guild system. It's just so unique, well thought out, love the characters, love the world, love the mechanics of everything of this fantasy setting. It's just so well plotted, and on top of that, I mentioned this before, but the author has such skill with writing combat that honestly, where sometimes for me combat can feel a little messy, this, I totally knew what was going on, and it was so great to read. I just really appreciated this story. I'm excited to have read it. I think it was a strong start to a series. Love the characters, love the dialogue, the setting itself. My favorite part, just so unique and cool. Dragons and this alchemist setting and this guild systems. It's very complicated, but very interesting, and I explained it more in detail in my individual review. But this was just such a great book. So excited to have read it. And I ended up giving this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Next up, I was looking to read a little bit of a thriller, so I picked up Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I know this cover's a little dramatic to look at, but I had picked this up kind of on a whim a few months ago, and I was like, I want to pick that up. This book kind of messed with my mind, let me tell you. This is about a man who, in the first chapter, he's just living his life, and he's with his family, the woman he loves, his son, and you know, he's a professor at a local college. Like, he's very happy. And then he he wakes up in a world where it's very similar, but he's not married to his wife, he no longer has a son, and his life is entirely different. And then he goes on this thriller journey to figure out what happened, why did he wake up in an entirely new world, what went on to make this possible, etc, etc. This story explores multiple threads of existence and parallel worlds, and man oh man, I don't want to say much more than that, but it will take you on a journey. This is a page turner, let me tell you, and it definitely made me like think about lots of things when I finished it. I would say this has multiple layers of twists and turns in a way that I just really appreciated. This was a journey. I don't read a lot of sci-fi thrillers, and this book made me want to pick up more. I thought this was just so interesting and entertaining. I love sci-fi, and I love like science propelled mystery, but I'm no scientist, so I wanted to be very approachable still, and I felt like this was that. It was so good. If you're interested in any type of thriller, or if you haven't read any, you don't really know where to start, I would recommend this. Really enjoyed it, read it in like 2 days. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was really good. I'm so happy I picked it up. Yes. The last book I picked up was a concluding novel of a trilogy, pat on my back, and that is The Battle for Wandala by Toni De Lorenzi. This is the concluding novel to the Wandala trilogy, a trilogy I feel like I've talked about a lot on my channel, and it just honestly took me forever to actually complete it. This is a middle grade sci-fi fantasy adventure story following our main character, Eva 9. In the first book, she wakes up in this pod, and from there, she's just lived her whole life in this pod with her robot mother. A series of events happen where she kind of surfaces to the world and realizes that there's so much more that she's been surrounding herself with. She goes on an adventure to kind of discover. She meets all sorts of creatures, she meets all sorts of people and worlds and cities, and it's such a wonderful story of exploration and acceptance and all things like that. I love this story, and I've mentioned this so many times, but I'm always gonna have to mention it. This story also has beautiful full-page illustrations throughout the whole thing, and each book has a different tonal like theme. So this one is like red, one of them's more green, one of them's more blue. It's just absolutely beautiful. Really enjoyed this concluding novel. I just feel like it has a lot to say, and middle grade I feel like can get real political, and the way that's great, you're like social acceptance, Battle for Wandala. Like, I feel like this should be required reading for everyone almost, because you read it and you're like, man, the world, we have to care about each other more. And it was just such a great story, really happy, really loved this concluding novel, so happy to have finished it. I feel like I'm gonna reread it soon because it's just such a big fan of it. But ultimately I gave this book, again, a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Really loved it. Hey guys, those are all the books I read in the month of February. I feel like there's quite a bit of diversity in those reads, which I'm happy about in terms of genre. I feel like I've kind of read something from each place, which I'm happy about. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon with another video soon. Goodbye!